Hey everyone, Jim T. Graham with RCGroups.com. Today we are looking at the Blade Scimitar 170 FPV, ready to fly and bind and fly basic. It's the ultimate blend of convenience and performance. So let's look in the box and just take a look at everything you're going to get in this very comprehensive package. First of all, I want to say if you're new to quads, want to get into quads and FPV, this is a great way to go. Primarily, and one of the bigger features is this transmitter that not only comes with the quad, but is actually pre-programmed. So all your switches, everything is set up and ready to rock right out of the box. And for some, this is one of the harder parts of getting a quad in the air, is getting it set up. There's nothing to be done here other than to put some batteries in, turn on the transmitter. Here is the quad itself. It is once again a 170 size quad, and it has 4-inch propellers. It has some features like the LED lights. We'll talk about the motors in just a second. Your battery lives on the bottom. Everything, of course, the connector and all those things are pre-installed. It has your FPV antenna built in, low to the hull, which I like. It protects it more in case you were to crash. You have your receiver antennas coming out, and I'll show you the pieces that go over those to protect them. They're in the box. And then we have a 600 TVL camera that rotates up and down. That is for slow flying or racing / fast flying. And then we have this cool LED setup on the back, and this provides a little information while you're in the air. So I would like to talk about what is in the box itself. Here's the props. You do have to put those on, and the prop guards attach to the bottom of those arms, and they go and snap. And then there's also Allen wrenches included so that you can tighten everything up once you get the prop guards on. And there is a wrench in there to put those nuts, take them off, and put them back on once you get your props on. Make sure everything's in the right place. And you might have to loosen up those bolts a little bit to get them on there, a snug fit. I would also suggest you tighten everything back up after you're done. So let's talk about what we're getting here. This is a 4S powered system. It consists of 1407 3000 kV motors, has good power. It's running 20 amp 4-in-1 ESCs with BL Heli-S and D-Hot 600 compatibility. It's an F3 flight controller, and it also has an on-screen display, which is always awesome. My unit showed up with thrust 850 milliamp 4S LiPos, and mine had 2 in there, which is great. More is always better, and I've had great luck with these batteries. You know, different batteries act different ways. These thrust batteries have done great for me. And of course the connectors all fit, everything's there, everything's together. There's even slots in the box for them. If you don't have a charger and this is your first quad, then it comes with a charger. You may have your own, but if you don't, that's there for you. And that's what makes this all-in-one unit really robust. It comes with the antennas, Velcro, things you need like batteries for your transmitter. So you could literally take this with everything in the box, walk outside and get flying. Now this is a big bonus. This is an FPV screen. There's the antenna, USB charging cable. And the thing I love about this, and I was just the day before lamenting how I needed a better FPV DVR recorder. And this has DVR built in. So you can see the red sticker back there. One big thing, there's your menu buttons at the top, is getting into the menu to get the DVR on and off can sometimes be tricky. The folks who designed this, thankfully, designed it to make it easy. So it simply powers on. The battery is built in, which is good and bad, but this lasts as long as I need it. And then you access your menus and channels up top. You have a single antenna input, and then when you are ready to record, you just push that button. And when you're done, you push it again. I love it. It has a SD card slot on the side. That sticker is reminding you to charge before you use. And I actually turned it on without charging it, but I wouldn't take it to the field before I charged it. I can charge this off my computer, or I also use a power pack if I'm in the field. That is a great thing to have. And then we have the manual, and I would suggest you read that. And then here are your antenna, your transmitter antenna covers and little rubber pieces that go over the top, Velcro for your battery, and some tools. Even comes with a screwdriver in there. So this is a great setup. It has everything you need in the box to get rolling. It even comes with, and this is the ultimate pack, with these FPV goggles. So this is the Spectrum 4.3-inch headset. And this is a way to take that screen that you received in the Scimitar box, and you can use it with this headset. There is a magnifier inside, and we'll crack this open and take a look. There we go. So there is a clip on the front of this, and as you can see, it has a head strap. It has the foamy place for your face, and a magnifier in there. And then it has a clip on the front, and right there is where your screen's going to live. So, of course, you would have your antenna on, but your screen would go in, pop it on, make sure it's on securely. And then when you turn the unit on, you can slip these on your head and be in the goggles with your Scimitar quad. So I actually where did I see it? It was on RCGroups somewhere where they were talking about utilizing these. Here's your stock antenna. This is just a rubber ducky antenna. I can tell you it works pretty good in the backyard. If you were wanting to get out in the field, a bigger area, you definitely should look at some upgraded antennas. Your system is only as good as the antennas you use. And if you're trying to reach out farther, that's always a good idea. So this is kind of the whole deal. Props, prop guards, the quad itself. You have your transmitters already set up. Everything you need to get going is here. And now, let's go fly this thing. So I start out in my backyard, and this was my first flight. And I just was testing how docile this thing was in mode 1, and also checking my video transmitter, video receiver, flying this thing in the goggles. And everything was rock solid right out of the gate. You know, I set it down, I plugged it in, had the transmitter already on. And then after I plugged it in, I sat down and armed it. The prop spun up immediately. Sometimes that's an issue. If you're setting things up yourself, there can be a centering issue, and then you can't get your quad to start, and it's super frustrating. That did not exist here. It's worked every time since then, and we're going to look at some other things besides this. We're going to head over to the RC field, and then we're going to get Jason Cole on the sticks and let him fly it as hard as he can. So anyway, this is how docile it is. You can fly around in low-hanging branches and do all that good stuff. And so then what I thought was, okay, I'm going to just drive over to the field, which is 5 minutes from my house, and I'm going to do some line of sight flying. So what we're going to do next, I wasn't in the goggles. I'm literally just testing it out. So I set it into high rates and went into the air and tried out some rolls and loops. And so we're going to kick it on and take off. So you can see the on-screen display here. I have the camera actually pointed a little lower than I needed it. But once again, I'm line of sight flying here, so this wasn't really a goggle flight yet. And it has a wide FOV. And so I'm headed out, and I think I do some rolls and some loops. And it performed great. You know, I thought maybe this was a more docile version of the Scimitar, but it didn't seem very docile to me. It seemed like it did great. And once again, when it was in mode 1, it was just so easy and smooth. And so now we're jumping to no one was here. There's always someone here. And I thought, well, if no one's here, perhaps I should take advantage of our shelter and cruise through the beams. So I started out just going through the middle. And I thought, okay, she's very calm and easy. By the way, I'm not mentioning it was crazy windy, which is why no one was here. So when I'm going this way, I had the wind, I believe, pushing me. And so I'm compensating for that. And then when I turned around and went the other way, I had the wind going the opposite direction. So This is probably my third flight on this unit. And I guess all I'm really doing here is proving that you can move it around in tight spaces and not feel weird about it. So what we're going to do next is call Jason up the next day. And I said, hey, man, come out here and fly this. And let's get the goggles on and see what it will actually do. Also, my battery's low, as you can see flashing there. So now we're going to jump over and check out Jason's flight. So the first thing you'll see is the on-screen display, which is giving you all the information that you need. And Jason is ripping and tearing. And I wanted to go over some of the features. The video transmitter actually has 3 modes. You can do 25, 200, and 600 milliwatt power modes. And so that comes in handy if you're racing or if you're with other quads or anything, FPV in the air, and you don't want to bleed over into their channel. You can see the battery power draw down there, which is super handy. I also want to point out that all of this is being recorded via the DVR on the monitor that was provided with Scimitar in the all-in-one package. And I'm very pleased with it. I'm actually going to be using this DVR for future reviews. I love that it can be used as a standalone unit and that it's so easy to know that you're recording and not recording. I also like that I can do playbacks on this thing. So for me, the standalone screen is super handy and something that I'm excited to have. We are running the stock antenna on the Scimitar, and I did put an upgraded antenna on the screen just to get a little better range out here. Jason did not have luck with that goal with the Scimitar he was flying. He actually whacked into that. But thankfully, he was successful with my Scimitar. So there certainly is more footage, but I think you've seen what you need. This is an all-in-one. I will say that there are different versions of this. So you can get a very simplistic version of this all the way up to this version that has everything you need in the box. As I've stated a lot, but it is important because when I was at the field on another day, I had a guy say, you know, I've been thinking about getting into quads. And I'm like, well, this is perfect because everything you need is in this quad. And it obviously can do everything. Now, the other Scimitar is a review being done by Jason, and you'll be able to check that out. In fact, I might add that link into the description below. And with that said, this is just the video portion of the review. This is not the full review. So be sure and go to RCGroups.com to check that out. This is Jim T. Graham with RCGroups.com. Thanks for watching.